Hey y'all, Monk Joseph here with the Broken Buddha. I wasn't planning any more videos today, but I'm going to do a quick American Boxing 101 my personal style video. I got motivated or inspired to do this because a gentleman bought a piece of boxing equipment from me for his son who's just starting. So this video is actually more for him than it is for me or anybody else. But yeah, so I'll just jump right into it. First off, if the young man who that stuff is for is watching, listen to your boxing instructor. I'm not a master. I would say I'm barely even an expert if you really understand the depth of which the simplicity of boxing can be taken to. And I'd say simplicity because it seems and is very simple, but if you can take it all the way, there's so much mastery to the simplicity, and it's beautiful. All right, so I'm going to jump right into it. Again, do what your boxing coach says. If you think your coach is a scrub, then try to find somebody who's running an actual boxing gym and not some like haphazard MMA school that wants to think they're boxers. All right, and it does happen. I mean, these days most MMA gyms have a nice boxing instructor, but for the most, you will see some that are like this guy should not be here teaching. I've experienced it. I've been at some seasoned MMA gyms where the kickboxing or boxing instructor just didn't know what the heck he was talking about. Actually, let's take these off for a second so I can explain everything else. Okay, I've never had to make an American boxing video, so this ought to be fun. Let's start with basic buttons. Okay, everybody knows most of them, and the tip of the mandible is very overlooked a lot, but it's because it takes more complexity and it's actually better with a bare knuckle than it is with a glove, because if you can skip or skim the tip, you can catch a knockout depending on how you catch them and whether or not it kinks their neck, because that does affect things. But if you can just catch them and slip it, it will knock them out. You can also flick up, but that's a bare knuckle thing if you're going to flick up to catch the tip of the mandible. The main two buttons you want to focus on is here. And because of those three buttons, that's why you always want to keep your chin tucked. You don't want to expose those buttons, and you should always have one. That's why when you see them on their chin, because they've got two buttons covered right there. All right, and then when they switch, they can just boom, and then they'll cover the other side for the next punch. So those are your three buttons. As a street, if you ever end up in street, there is another one here, ST9. Do not punch anyone directly in the throat. You can collapse their esophagus and kill them. And manslaughter, you're still going to do 5 to 15, no matter what the reason is, no matter who you were protecting. So you want to kind of go for more like a punch here or here, but try not to actually nail the esophagus. You're going for the carotid or carotid sinus. Again, guys, this is an emergency move because if you drop somebody's blood pressure who can't handle it, they may not get up. And again, 5 to 15's a heck of a long time to not be free over your ego. So that's covered. Let's see. Always want to have your chin tucked. I want to cover some box work. I do have my box right here. My personal style is I fight a southpaw rear leg stance, which means that I'm always reared back, waiting to shift my body weight into what I'm doing. And then at the same time, I do a front leg orthodox. All right, and this is actually my natural stance. I've added in because I really fell in love with the rear leg boxing. I added in the southpaw. And this is beneficial. Again, guys, I'm not an expert. This is just my personal style that I enjoy doing more for fun than anything else. The benefit to this is you can keep them at a distance and rock them hard enough to knock them out no matter how big they are if you're using rear leg style. And as they close in, you don't got to back up. You're just going to switch into your front leg orthodox and just tee off on them. You know what I'm saying? They may think you're fleeing, but you're not fleeing. You're just boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Okay, and then of course you can do the same as you're here. If they're getting too far away and you want to set them up, but you're afraid they're setting you up, you can always step into that rear leg again, or you can step back into that rear leg again. But again, you should really focus on one style at a time. Either pick rear leg or front leg to focus on. Traditional is more, in my opinion, from what I've seen, is more rear leg because it's more about the shifting of the blood in the body as opposed to letting your arms do all the work. Front leg boxing is what you see these days in the ring because everybody likes to put all that weight on the front leg and just pivot off the front leg and use all that weight. I don't really have an opinion one way or the other because it seems that front leg is doing better in the ring these days, but in the street, I mean, anything goes, and it's all about survival. Whatever works, works. Okay, so anyway, this will benefit you either way, but rope work, box work, what's it called? Evaluation line work. What else am I missing here? We'll just stop there. What that's going to do, if you do it right, all right, I can't tell you if you're doing it right or wrong unless I'm there, but if you do it right, it will actually build your arches into a springboard. Like right now, I haven't been doing it, So I understand the concept of using my arches as a springboard, but when you're there, it will actually launch you into them like you're on an actual springboard. You'll push back, and then your foot's just gonna whoo, and you're gonna fly forward. That's why I like rear leg boxing. And also, most street fighters who aren't trained are kind of stupid. So if you step back, they're gonna chase you because they think you're running away, but you're just loading a spring to launch into them. Okay, so that covers that. Starting with the front leg boxing, you're gonna have. I honestly couldn't tell you what the. I'm trying to think of what the weight distribution is. It's been a long time since I studied these things officially. But for your front leg boxing, you're gonna have the majority of your weight on your front. Let me see. Let me see what I'm feeling here. I'd say about 70-30 maybe 80-20, 70-30 to 80-20. And you're gonna just be pushing, right? And you want to learn your guide stepping. If you don't already know what it is, you're going to lift your foot off the ground. It'll start off a little high, but eventually get lower and lower. And it's just to pick your foot up just enough to slide forward. All right. And you don't want it to be too wide. Save that for your long range boxing, but go just for the close range, pick up, slide, and just practice just that sometimes. And you don't have to train ambidextrously, but it's never going to hurt. Sorry, it's like I said, I've never had to make a video for this before, and I really just wanted to be supportive of the young men. All right, so there's your guide stepping, and you're going to use this eventually to time with your jab. But when you're training your jab, I don't want you to just throw your punch. I want you to separate your stepping and your punching to work on separately in the beginning, if you are truly in the beginning. All right, and when you're working on your punching, try to get a mirror. All right, put a piece of tape down the middle. And you don't have to go fast. Just work on that muscle memory and cross that line. Bam. Make sure you're crossing that line every time. Right? Bam. And that way, eventually, you'll just naturally cross their jaw every single time. You're never going to have to worry about not penetrating far enough, but just make sure you're crossing that line. And then eventually you'll put it together. You'll have your guide stepping and cross that line. Right? Okay, and then, okay, and that's your jab. And when you throw your jab, if you're gonna practice pumping your jab, especially in the beginning, I see a lot of people do this. No, throw full jabs. If you wanna throw a double gauging jab to see how far you are away to make sure you line up your cross, then make sure at least in the beginning, obviously in a street fight, you're not gonna pull your hand all the way back and all the way out for a double gauging strike. But you should be practicing it when you're not fighting somebody to get that good muscle memory. And on top of that, if you practice your jab hard enough and enough, you're not going to need it. I mean, it's always good to have more weapons, more crosses, hooks, uppercuts, everything. But you should be able to knock somebody out with your jab, especially in the street. Because if you're guide stepping right, you should be landing down with all your body weight while you're crossing that line and landing. It'd be like taking a statue and just dropping it on someone's face if you do it right, because your body should be pretty much a stone when you hit that spot, and then you soften, recoil. Okay. Now we'll go for the cross. So, what the heck is that? It sounds. I don't usually hear that sound. Anyway, sorry. It's a big bird or something. So for your cross, make sure you're twisting. Again, when you see amateurs and street fighters, you see a lot of they don't understand how to twist. They'll just boom, boom, and then they reach. Don't do that. I mean, there is stuff you see people do in the cage, but a lot of times that's a setup and an overshot. They're intentionally doing that, and they are risking things that they are capable of defending against by putting their head that low. When you're throwing across and you're just starting, all you want to do is just turn your body. Boom, boom, right? And if you do it right, again, you're sinking, dropping, and turning yourself into stone in that split second, and then recoiling back. So when you're throwing your jab, it's going to be boom, 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 right? And then, of course, you can go back into another routine, step back into your rear leg or whatever it is you'll do from there. And again, guys, I can't reiterate however many books I've read on boxing and however many, old school training videos I watched back in the day, but that's just what it is. And I may do a more in-depth one day, but this is really just, again, somebody's dad came and bought some boxing gear, and I just want to make sure that they had the best information possible from me and my personal style as a gift to him, you, right? All right. So, what is that? All right. So, again, this is your front leg, orthodox. When you're guide stepping, hear that everything rattle? That's what I mean by you should be able to knock somebody out with a jab. And if you're gonna double pump that jab, make sure you get 2 full strikes into it and follow out. I was trying to really boom the bag, so I may have not pulled back all the way, but you see what I'm trying to get at, right? And you just want to make sure that you're doing that. And again, if you don't know, that jab is really, it's more of a gauge. You're seeing how far you have to go to cross or knock them out. So if I throw a jab here, boom, I need to take a step about an inch or 2 forward, then you deliver. See what I'm saying? So you can use it to knock out, you can use it to gauge, but make sure your form is clean. Make sure you're guide stepping. And if you ever get into rear leg boxing, your guide stepping changes slightly because, again, you're not using guide stepping, you're using that springboard. And the springboard works for front leg boxing, but it's nothing like being able to really take time, days and weeks or months, building up that springboard in your feet and then being able to push back on this thing and just launch so far and fast forward. Ugh, sorry, I just had some lunch a little bit ago. I got really excited to make the video. That's why it's probably going to seem kind of crappy. But, all right. And that's pretty much about it there. Like I said, I just wanted to cover some basics for you, man. Make sure you're doing your guide stepping. Start higher. Make sure you get foot lower and lower so that, you know, when you're getting really there, nobody should even really notice that your foot came off the ground. But it should. Just slightly come up, go in, land, drop the punch at the same time. Make sure you're twisting for your cross. Get ready for the duck in case you do ever have a mistake. So it's boom, boom, boom. It's never a bad habit to come here just as a natural reaction when you're first starting. Because if you do miss that, oh, they're coming for you. Like, believe that. And if you think it's a body shot, you can always just duck down here and throw that next punch as you're blocking the body shot at the same time, right? And, you know, watch other videos. I don't know how many times I got to say in this video that I'm not an expert or a master. This is something that I do for fun to supplement both to supplement my Kung Fu and also as an American, it's my native martial art. So of course I'm going to have some type of affinity and love practicing it. And what else? Other than that, the best advice I can give you, carry 2 sets of boxing gloves in your trunk for however long you can. Box everybody you can, everybody you know. I wouldn't risk a knockout if somebody's like being weird and aggressive. Unless you've got your skills and you're about it like that, then go ahead and do it. But carry boxing gloves on you everywhere you go. 2 sets. And you should have a mouthpiece. Don't worry about theirs if they don't want one, because if they want to be tough, let them be tough. But yeah, that'll do it, man. That's one of the things that really put it down is I carried boxing gloves, 2 sets in my trunk for a very long time. And everywhere I went, I'd go to jobs, and then we'd have like, you know, we'd have boxing matches at every party after night or after work every day or every night. So, you know, have fun. You know, let it make you stronger. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, so let me just say that the biggest mistake I've seen every boxer make, dude, if you really love boxing and you really make it in American boxing, stay out of the partying, man. You know, because if you end up getting pulled away for partying and lose your boxing for that, then you didn't do it because you loved boxing or health or martial arts. You did it because you wanted to party and you need to face that fact. So stay away from the partying. You will just keep going, keep trying. You'll make something of yourself. Mark my words. Stay focused. You will make something of yourself. No matter what ring you step in with American boxing skills, not many people have that skill unless they're at a top tier level or you're in an area where everybody boxes. I mean, the town over from here, like everybody boxes. There was a boxing gym like every few blocks. So I mean, you wouldn't want to mess around there too much. But yeah, so that's all I have for you. Again, I was just really inspired by hearing a young man starting his boxing journey. And as you can see, I was really, really excited getting the information out. So I hope it wasn't too all over the place. And I'll try to answer any comments if they're not crazy or rude in the comments section. But best luck to you, young man. I hope you stay on it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get healthy, get strong, and have a great life, man. Peace and blessings. Thanks for stopping by.